Hello and welcome to another production of the Single 8 Show. Your name is...
My name is Joseph Mills. Your name is...
The Single 8.
And today on the Single 8 Show, I tried to turn it over to you.
Sorry.
Because here's how awkward this is going to sound.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about voices that are not allowed to speak. So how awkward is that cis white male is introducing this topic? But how much more apropos would it have been if the non-binary superstar Single H would have said,
Yeah, today we're going to talk about not listening to the people in the group that you're talking about.
yes,
On both sides of the aisle.
yes,
Because this happens too much on both sides of it.
it happens on this podcast.
Yes.
As I overrun the conversations on the Single 8 Show.
Yeah.
Yes. So I want to share, as we get into this, why this came to my mind. I think I can use this name because it's public local politics and it's known. So I think I can say the name trustee, school board member Melissa Shine. She is the student rep on the Temecula Valley School Board. And she gave a killer, kick-ass speech at the end of Thursday night's school board meeting about how the board is not listening to the people that they need to listen to, and they completely shun the student voice, which is the most important voice for them.
Yes, which is a giant problem throughout school boards in general and countless other boards.
Yes.
That they are cutting out the one person they actually need to listen to. Because kindly parents, when it comes to schools, you should have the limiting voice.
The students.
No, parents should have at the minimum in the conversation.
Yes, understood.
Students should have more room.
Yes.
Because parents, you are not in the environment. As much as you think you know what's going on, you do not.
Yes.
You know hearsay.
From their kids sometimes, though.
Yes.
Yeah. So
So it's important to get your kids up there for people like the school board to have a first-hand account and not a second-hand account.
yes.
Because there will be changes from the first hand to the second hand.
Yes. So, let's talk about a little bit about other areas that we see that. Because advocacy work is important, and parents go in to advocate for their kids. So we're not saying don't advocate.
Yes.
But what we are saying is through advocacy, empower the voices that need to be heard to speak.
Yes.
And so we don't just see this in the school board for students. We see this with our LGBTQIA plus siblings a lot as well.
Yes.
That individuals go out in the form of advocacy and they're actually speaking over the voices that need to be heard.
Yes. Because advocates, I'm going to phrase this a different way than what I did. Make room for the people that you're advocating for. And also, you can have either a first-hand or second-hand account of what's going on. So also verify your information for when the people who are a part of the community come up, they already have backup.
Yes.
Sometimes your job is not to be first fiddle. That's your job during Pride. Because it's our time to celebrate and not have to worry about our safety all of the time. That's
Yeah.
when you play first fiddle. But when people who are in the community trying to speak, that's when you play second fiddle, because you do not know their experience. That's when you play second fiddle. Because advocacy work is knowing when to play first and when to play second. Or know how to be a support character in a video game or a role-playing game.
A non-playable.
No, I said support character for a
Okay.
reason.
Okay.
Because I play, in D&D, I play a bard that mostly uses healing magic. I am a support character for the character that can do better damage than I can, and who can keeping them safe.
So your job is to heal them so that they can keep having the most impact.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's your job as advocates. And not only speaking, but also knowing when to be that support character for people in that community. You are still an active player in the game of life. You are then taking a step back for a second for the people who in that community can be the mainline barbarian for a second.
Yes.
It's okay to not be a barbarian all the time. Sometimes people in the community, when they have the strength to, want to be that barbarian for a second.
Yeah.
And let them be that barbarian. Or let them be a very high level wizard.
Yeah. So again, what we are not saying don't advocate.
We are saying advocate with awareness.
Yeah. So one of the things that I do is I do sit down and have conversations with Single H, with other friends in marginalized communities before I go out and speak. But
And that's you gaining that experience from that community.
yes. And the other part of gaining that experience from that community is also I hold a responsibility to say, hey, I'm building up this information to go out and share. But how much more powerful would this conversation be if you were the person speaking?
Yeah.
Yes. There's a
Where-
phrase I want you to tell me if you understand.
Yeah.
Do you understand the phrase white savior?
Oh, yeah.
You explain it.
First production here. First cast of Hades Town. I'm saying first because the tag changed and we have had different Orpheuses and different Eurydices. But in the first production, it was a little bit of a white savior story. Because it would read Carney's Orpheus saving a person in a marginalized community. And that person not being able to save themselves.
And
Within the measures of the story.
and the visual depiction of that character was a white man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that had changed, Jordan Fitzer had taken up the role of Orpheus in time, and we have had different Orpheus across the West End and on Broadway and on tours.
Yeah.
But it's also important to realize that because you are white, and that because you have the privilege, mean that you need to give the privilege to someone who doesn't.
Yes.
Notably, if you're white and cis. I need to...
Yeah.
If you're white, cis, and straight, you need to use that privilege of being white and cis and straight to make sure that people who are not white and cis and straight have the platform to say what needs to be said in their own words.
Yes. So, within all that, again, we're not saying white people be quiet because
We're saying white people make room.
make room.
We are not saying be quiet. We are saying make room for people.
Yeah. Because the image of a white savior is a person of privilege, not just trying to help someone, but they come in and overrun and dominate the
Yes.
conversation so much that it, in the search of empowering another person, they end up disempowering the other people
Yes.
for speaking too much.
I'm gonna bring in something. At my school, we do have some form of conversation tests. And if you dominate the conversation, you do get a lower grade. Even if you did talk a fair amount of time and you talked a fair amount in detail, you still took away from someone who was tinier in the conversation. And especially, I'm going to add this onto it. If you didn't let that person in.
If you blocked them out.
A big part of it, if you talked a fair amount of times and you let other people in, you still got a high grade. Could you let other people in and let their other points of view shown? This is still happening. This happens in real life conversations all the time.
Listen to the Single H show, and there's many examples of
the
me.
more time you talk, the more less credited becomes what you're saying a little bit.
That's true.
For lack of a better phrasing, it becomes... pardon my language for a second. It becomes you talking out of your ass. And it's important that you make sure you leave room for that to not happen for other people who won't do that. Because you have lost track of things to say and now you're left talking.
Yeah.
It's important that in advocacy work, we don't get to the point that we're the talking. You need to talk with meaning. You need to talk with absolute meaning and knowledge behind everything you are saying. Because if you don't, people will exploit it later. We have seen this happen many times in this year alone. We have seen that happen. So every time you speak with a purpose and meaning. Yet purpose and meaning can sometimes mean the same thing, but sometimes it doesn't. Because you can speak with the purpose of trying to make room, with the meaning of advocacy, or with the meaning of sharing information. But the purpose can still be making room, because within that sharing of information, another person can come in and add. Are we getting the gist?
I get it. I'm making sure I don't speak over you.
Yeah. Are we getting the gist?
Yes. So can we flip the script real quick? Let's flip the script, because you opened up a great narrative to do that. The people that talk and block people out. That happens a lot in the negative side, and it's not advocacy. It's people trying to control the conversation so that they keep control of the narrative.
Yeah.
During the 2016 election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump constantly broke into the conversation. He constantly wandered around and hovered around Hillary Clinton to control the narrative. And what Trustee Shy was sharing is that we've got a group of people that aren't even willing to listen to the people that need to be heard, that are trying to speak for themselves, because they get louder and control the narrative with their own nonsense.
Yeah. We currently have people controlling the narrative with stories. And I'm going to clarify what I mean with stories in this moment.
Okay.
I do not mean the day-to-day. I do not mean reality. I mean they're clouding the feed with fiction.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
They're slowing it slowly with fiction. Because the power of fiction is that you can develop fear with it. too easily than I would mine. And you can create pretty much you can make a math illusion. Like WandaVision. You can make a math illusion that people are believing.
Don't lose your thought. I want to say this clearly that people know.
Yeah.
Mass illusion.
Mass illusion.
Yes, I want to make sure people hear that clearly. Keep going.
You can make a mass illusion that people will believe and fall into. Like cults. Mainly cults.
Yeah.
If you haven't clocked that what's happening is a type of cult right now, I am severely worried for you. Because we are currently in a country ran by a cult.
And that is locked in a mass illusion.
Yet.
Yeah.
Because that's how cults work. They start selling an illusion of reality that's not true. But it looked advertising for those it had targeted to.
Yeah.
But those who have seen it happen and who know the symptoms of it, know.
Exploit the symptoms.
Yeah. Yes. Will exploit it, but also they will know how to fight back. Or at least know how to stop it from happening to people nearby them.
Yeah.
Because being a part of the community, you're kind of trained for this. That's how your brain naturally goes while you're growing up. Because your brain technically, throughout a big part of my life, never felt... hasn't really leave fight or flight. So you begin to cast the social cues of a fight. And you start to cast the cues of people falling into it, following into the illusion. And you can cast the patterns of what's happening, so you can fight it off in the best way that you can by telling your own story.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to clarify what I mean by story, because I clarified it at the beginning. Telling the truth. Mainly by not filtering yourself. Point it out. Point it out to them right now. Could by now it should be in their face, but if it's not, put it in their face. Put it right in front of their eyes. They have been shielded for too long, and it's time to, in the words, and by the end of Wicked Part 2, it's time to burst the Glinda bubbles.
Yeah.
They've been in a bubble for too long. Now it's time to burst it. Whatever their first reactions are, those are going to be guttural. And it's okay. Because after you burst it, you can keep on telling the truth until they understand. And until they can develop another lens.
So, within that bubble bursting thing, there is commonly an immediate response of recreating the bubble.
Yes.
And people become very negative and confrontational because when their bubble is burst, they immediately want to reconstruct it instead of really processing what's happened.
Yes. And it's your job to continually bursting that bubble during that process.
Yeah.
You need to be as annoying to them as they were to you.
Alright, that's fair. And there is a way to be unfiltered and productive.
Yes.
It's not about going out and yelling and screaming.
No,
you can productively share a calm conversation with unapologetically presenting facts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is true. Say it with me. Honesty.
Honesty.
You need to be honest about what's been going on. we are at the point that I'm not going to say be a child. Don't child them. They have lost that chance to be child. I'm asking you to more or less be gentle to the point, but at the same time, if they need more, in it, they are constantly on Fox News and constantly on countless right-wing media service. You need to help provide them with a common ground.
Yeah.
Because there are now countless media sites that have both sides of it on there.
And
I would urge you to almost try to point them to there, because that might start their process on their own, because you cannot do everything for them.
Yeah.
This is not a time that you can do everything for them.
Let me share one of those news sources. It's Reuters News out of the United Kingdom. It is a good, moderate news source that presents both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Grounded News had both sides of the spectrum with all of the stats showing about biases and everything about the article. So I would point them toward there, because as much as you want to, you cannot do the process for them.
And that's where the division really starts to set in.
Yeah.
Is when that neither side is listening to each other, and the voices that matter have been so silenced that they're not speaking anymore. And then you just have this bombardment of one-sided thought that no one's getting helped at all.
Yeah.
That's the Fox News approach. That is the Trump approach, is to keep bombarding with your narrative that the other side just gives up.
And we are in a moment that we cannot give up.
Yes.
We do not have time to do that. We have time to take a break for a second and breathe while everything's happening and then go in.
Yeah.
This is another thing. Allies, I need you to be aware when people in the community needs a break. Because we are in a moment that a lot of terrible laws are getting put into place. I need you to know that person doesn't want to talk about it all the time. That person is gonna need a break. And sometimes you need to be the person for that person within the community to tell them to take a break. Tell them to take a break. Tell them to go out on a walk. Tell them to go watch a movie. Tell them to read a book.
Go find Mr. or Ms. or Mix right now.
Yes. Go tell them to take a break, because they deserve it. We are in a time in our history that is not good for them.
Yeah.
They are, at every moment, they are being targeted. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. At every moment, they are being targeted.
Yeah.
It's your job to be a viable shield for however long of time you can handle by going out to board meetings. Your job as allies is to speak up when people need rest.
Yes.
Because as allies, if you're cis, white, and straight, you have times of rest right now. You do not have to make room for them. People within the community have to make room for them. And they will... I feel guilty when I have to take a break.
Yeah.
And not face everything. But it's your job to provide that moment of liberty by going after self. That's why you need to make room in the conversation for when they do.
And
they need the confidence to
Yeah.
do that.
so what? And to add this narrative in the overall conversation, it's okay to speak out as long as you're not speaking over.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need to not... Kindly, right now, you are not the center of the conversation.
Yeah.
And you need to act like you're not the center of the conversation. And yet, even though speaking up is helping, and it's helping a lot, I need you to be aware that because no matter what, you have second hand or close to first hand if you're seeing events happen, you need to help provide that. And help them speak up about it. If someone is if you're in high school or in middle school and you're listening to this and you are an ally, if your friend is being bullied, please go and speak up. Or at least tell their parents if they know and they're into everything and they are supporting their child like they should. At least tell them if you don't know if the school is going to do anything. Because the probability is right now the school doing anything is low. I'm not going to lie to you. It is low. So you need to give them that surface to at least talk to you and their parents about it. For it to be dealt with in as controlled of a manner as we can while they're still getting actively fired on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a break for this one. I think that was very well shared. But before we go, we're going to give time to one of our our advertisements. That's right, friends. Rolling Greens Golf and Cemetery. Are you looking for a place to talk? Then our 19th hole is a place for you. You can share a story. You can listen to other people's stories. You can learn about their journeys. Do you want to hear about that one time that one guy hit a hole-in-one? Do you want to hear the stories of the individuals that they are there to remember? That's right. You can share those family memories and you can spin a lie that makes you sound fantastic at our 19th hole bar and grill. That's right, at Rolling Greens Golf and Cemetery. It is also your place to have a time to talk as you go to the place that you shared the most time with your families. Because remember, at Rolling Greens Golf and Cemetery, make the place that you got your hole in one the place for your hole for one. Rolling Greens. And
come down to the YouTube and go watch stuff and go check out the Redbubble, because I still haven't got things switched over to TeePublic.
so there is still the Redbubble sticker shop. There is still the Single H art show. So join it all. And for now, that was the Single H show for this week.
Your name is
My name is Joseph Mills. Your name is
The Single H. Please have a great week. Or okay week. Let's survive.